welcome back to my channel and back to another video. I hope you're all doing really well today. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my transition from redundancy to freelancing. So it's slightly different, but I did feel really called to share this because it's something that I was researching a lot when I was thinking about doing this sort of thing. So I hope this information helps some of you out there, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get into it. So first I just want to explain my background and everything like that. So I went into a new job at the beginning of this year into social media content creation and management and things like that. So before this I was always in jobs that I didn't really enjoy. My heart wasn't really in them. They were just very not very creative jobs, not things that I personally was passionate about. So it was really heartbreaking when I was made redundant. I'd only been there for about 6 months, so it wasn't very long at all. I was in the environmental sector and I basically was social media marketer for a company that helped plant trees. You could plant trees with us as like a partnership on behalf of your business. We done loads of land restoration and our end goal was to remove loads of carbon from the atmosphere. So it's something that I was super passionate about and I loved it, and it was like a pinch me moment when I actually got the job because I was really marketing and sharing a message that I was super passionate about and super interested in and I wanted to share. So it was quite a difficult time of my life when this happened to me. It did feel like the rug was just pulled out from underneath me, and that was it. The next day I woke up and I didn't have a job, so it was quite difficult. I mean, I have a house, I have a mortgage, I have like many bills, you know, I'm a 25-year-old, I do adult things, so I did have some things to pay for, so it was a little bit scary and worrying. I did get 2 months payment from the company that I was in. I'm not going to mention the name, but I did get 2 months payment from them, so there was a bit of a redundancy payout, but it was only 2 months, and that is not a lot of time when you're looking for a job that you really want to start, something that you're passionate about and something you enjoy. It's not a lot of time really, because you have to go through the whole interview process. You know, if things don't work out, you have to look again, and some employers take ages to contact you, and some job openings are open for like a month at least, so it's not a lot of time. So it was a little bit terrifying, but it did open a door for me that I never thought I'd be able to pursue. So after a bit of a job hunt and nothing really happening with a lot of jobs or hearing back, I started to pick up more freelance work. So I had done social media management and content creation and design for clients before on a freelance basis. It's how I got into this industry. It's how I discovered that I was super passionate about this and like graphic design and things like that. And helping small businesses grow was something I was super passionate about through online marketing. So I had done this sort of thing before, so that did help, but I don't want that to put you off, because you can easily go find clients in this industry or whatever industry you're in. But you can easily, you know, find people. You don't have to have, you know, clients already set up. And at this point when I started this new job, I only had one client that I was doing on the side, and that was actually for a company that my dad works for, and he works for his friend. So it was very it was super flexible. We weren't that on it. It was a very here and there type situation. It wasn't too consistent at this time, so I did reignite that client a little bit more, and they did, luckily, because it was my dad, gave me some more work to do, which was nice, because it did sort of make me feel like I had a bit of a purpose still. Because when your job just is pulled away from you, taken away from you so quickly with no warning, you can sort of have this identity crisis and you can feel a bit of a loss with what you're doing. So it's good to have something to do whilst that's happening. Anyway, so I will go through a little bit of how I did this. So like I said, I did, have a freelance client already. So I picked up more work with them. I also started to just ask around. I literally asked around friends and family, you know, not in a pushy way, just in a like, you know, people wanted to know what I was getting up to, you know, they wanted to know if I'd found a job yet. So this is something I just brought up to people, and it's funny how things can travel so quickly, especially with your friends and family, because they want to help you. So I managed to find another client who was a family friend of ours, and I actually am currently doing a one-off project for him, but it could grow into something more. I'm hoping that it will, because he seems pretty satisfied with what I'm doing for him. But I also put myself on loads of local Facebook groups. So I would highly recommend doing this, because people want to support local people, and it's more beneficial for them as well. So try and get into as many local Facebook groups as you can. I did try quite a big radius around me. I live in Kent. You know, some don't like you posting in there. If you're not living in the actual area itself, that's fine. Things will just be taken down. Just read the rules on the Facebook group, because they do have certain days and things like that. But I got a lot of feedback from Facebook groups. Small businesses, I targeted small businesses mainly, and they seem to want to work with me because I was also a small business. So do work with your strengths, but I would highly recommend posting on Facebook groups, because there is such a large audience on there. As I was doing the posting on the Facebook groups, I had also created a website for myself. So when I sort of decided that I wanted to take freelancing a little bit more seriously, I put my head down and created a website for myself that was like an online landing portfolio page where people could see all my work. Because in something creative, people want to see what you can do. It's not as easy as just, you know, I don't know, maybe administration or things like that, when people can just give you references. It's very different with creative things, because people want to see your style, want to see what you create. So I created an online website portfolio situation. It was nothing fancy. I'm not the best at website creation. This is why I don't offer it to people. People seem to think that my websites are pretty good, but it's not something I actually really enjoy doing, to be quite honest. I find it pretty stressful, but I did just put my head down for like a solid 4 days to smash out this website, and to put not only just things that I've done on there, but also my services, because if people find me through Google, they want to know what I do. You know, I don't just do social media management. I do, you know, content creation, content design. I do things like print design and, you know, video editing and all of that. So all of that is on my website. So make sure you have some sort of plan in mind of what your services are and what you can share with people. Because it might not just be one thing, you might have a bit of a niche. So make sure you sort of open yourself up to the outside world with what you can actually do, because sometimes people won't always know, but they need you, but they do need you. So I made sure it was all in one place so people could see all the things I do, so it's clear. And I highly recommend sitting down with yourself and setting aside some time to get up a bit of a plan of what you can actually fit in to your lifestyle, what you want to do, what you're passionate about, and like sort of find your niche with that, and then put it onto a place where everyone can see it. Another thing I did was create some business cards so I could easily, on the go, if I visited a small business that I feel like could do with some social media help, I could just hand them my business card. You know, it doesn't have to be this super salesy thing. And I think people get a bit terrified that they can't do it because they're not a salesperson, but it's not about that. You don't have to push yourself. You can literally just say to somebody, really like your shop. Do you have a social media page? If they're like, yes, we do, and you can be like, oh, okay, you know, just to let you know, I do social media management. Here's my card. It's not like you have to sell yourself right there and then. And I think you'll find as soon as you start to get to know yourself and what you're capable of, you become more confident. And a lot of the time, people outsource you because they don't know what they're doing. So you are going to know more than them. So just remember that. And it is nerve-wracking, of course it is. I've done like a client consultation where the person I did not even know, and it was quite terrifying, but when I got into it and I had a bit of a chat with them, it was more just like getting to know each other. And I think when you haven't got a huge corporate business where you're, you know, charging loads of money, or you have a massive team, you don't really need to sell yourself this way. It is just a very much getting to know you, you know, chatting about what you're passionate about, which is usually what you're doing as freelancing. It becomes a bit of a flow. So I wouldn't be too, you know, worried about it. Of course, it's terrifying when you first begin. I'm still terrified about doing freelancing because I've always had someone pay me, you know, for working for them. I've never done it all on my own, and that's terrifying. And you know, I don't have the best confidence when it comes to talking with people, when it comes to sort of sharing about myself. I'm not the most confident in it, but when it's something you're passionate about, it's very different. And when you have that sort of inner want to help someone with something that you know you're good at, sort of a different part of you comes out. And like I said, all of my chats with people have not been salesy at all. It's been like, this is why I'm freelancing, this is what's happened, this is my background. It's more them, you know, you want to learn about their business really and what you can do for them. So it is like a conversation on both ends, and it's not like an interview, it's completely different. So I also wanted to do a little section on why I decided to do this, because like I said, I haven't done any freelancing stuff before, but I think this was a really important time of my life, where I had forced to make a, you know, very important, exciting, terrifying decision. So I wanted to just touch on a little bit about why. So, you know, I've always wanted to work for myself. It's something that I've always dreamed of, especially growing up. I never really had like a true passion. Like, a lot of my friends wanted to be teachers and go to university, and I was always a little bit like in the flow of things, and I didn't have any clear like goals and things. So I always thought, you know, it'd be really, really nice to work for myself. I don't know what in, but I always imagined that being such an amazing position. You know, your hours are flexible, you know, you choose when you want to work, you can do something you're really passionate about. And that was always something that appealed to me. The flexi time, the, you know, work-life balance and all of that. So it was always something in the back of my mind that I wanted to do, but I never really had the courage to like just drop all things and just do it. And I think a lot of that links into my sort of love of slow living and intentional living, is to have that sort of balance. So when I started thinking about it more and how it would work so well in my lifestyle, that's when I took it a little bit more seriously. I also wanted to take this risk when it was sort of handed to me. It was a very strange situation. You know, it was, like I said, it was completely heartbreaking when I was made redundant out of nowhere. But it was a time where I thought, well, if I don't do this, I don't know when I will. You know, I don't have any other responsibilities right now. I'm not working full time, and I'm being paid for 2 months where I can get myself on my feet and get this up and running. So it was a really good time for me to just do this. And although it was scary, like I said, it was a risk I wanted to take at a time when I felt most stable, and that was during this time, funnily enough. And I am a very intuitive person. I do have, you know, a lot of spiritual connections and things, and I do feel like there were a lot of signs shown to me at the time that this was the right decision. I won't go into them now because I know a lot of people don't really care for like all of this sort of signs in the universe thing, but I did feel a strong pull intuitively that I wanted to do this. You know, I was applying for jobs, you know, completely half-heartedly. I wasn't interested in follow-up interviews. You know, a lot of people weren't coming back to me, and I was like, maybe this is a sign for me to do this now, because the other thing clearly isn't working and it doesn't feel right. And I had many other signs, like I said, which I won't talk about now, but that was really important to me, because I do feel like I have a very strong connection to this, and if it's guiding me in this direction, why would I go the opposite? Another reason is I didn't really want to go through the whole interview process again. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I was hired for the job about 6 months before being made redundant, and you know, this was a time where I didn't really like my job before this, and I was really trying to do a proper job hunt. I was applying for so many jobs. I had really intense interviews because obviously in this sector, you know, it is a creative sector. You do often have to do some sort of presentation or show your work. It's not just, you know, questions about customer service. So it was a really intense time for me, and being knocked down many times was so terribly draining. The weight was so terribly draining, and I'd only done that about 6 months ago. I felt like I'd only just recovered from all of that. And what made me the most scared and terrified and, you know, felt sick to my stomach was having to do that all over again. So it's probably like a really lazy thing to say or a reason, but that's another reason why I decided to do this, because I didn't have to do the interview process. I was doing something I was passionate about, you know, it's quite easy for me to talk about, and I was finding my own clients. So yeah, it's something that I didn't really want to go through again, so I took the other road. Not saying this is a reason that you should as well. There are many other reasons why you should think about doing this, you know, quite seriously. Like, you know, do you have the funds? Are you going to go into debt? Like, do you have a plan? Do you have clients already? There's lots of things to think about. But this was another thing that just put the cherry on top for me, really. I thought I wanted to take the other direction, which was freelancing. So that was what I wanted to chat about today. I hope this video was helpful to some of you, and, you know, if you want to learn any more about freelancing, or if you have any questions about the initial setup or anything like that, do let me know. Always happy to do another video on it. I know it's very different to like my usual videos and maybe what some of you are interested in, but, you know, I wanted to share this because it's a big change in my life. I have a lot more time for YouTube now, so it's important to share these things. And I think, like I said, I wanted to help some people out there that may be on the fence about whether to do this or not, and whether to try freelancing or not. So I just wanted to share my reasons, but also I do feel like, you know, starting to work for yourself and taking these opportunities is in line with intentional living. You know, it's definitely in line with my slow living lifestyle, because I can definitely continue to slow down and focus on, you know, the lifestyle that I want to live. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway, either or. And yeah, if you're on the fence of freelancing, I hope it all goes well for you, and I do highly recommend just giving it a try if it's possible for you right now. I would also say it might be worth just getting a part-time job and then, you know, getting yourself off the ground the other way. But obviously this was a situation that happened to me personally. If you're also going through redundancy, I'm really sorry to hear that. I completely feel you right now, and I really do wish all the best for you. And if freelancing is the way to do it, I highly recommend just giving it a go if you're in the situation or place where you're able to. Anyway, ramble done. I feel like I've just rambled this whole video. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye. It's kind of strange.